Welcome back after Christmas. Happy New Year and all the other good stuff. The internet's laziest cooking nerd has returned. Laziest? No. Sporadic? Yes. Okay. So the last thing I posted was a couple of weeks ago and I promised faithfully I was going to do more. But then this thing called Christmas and New Year got in the way, and on top of Christmas and New Year, a little bug came floating through the ether and attacked me. And so I was all and early nights and all the other rubbish. So yeah, it's been a fun Christmas, a quiet one, luckily. And back to normal. Mood's back to normal as well. So a couple of really bad depressions last year, but I'm feeling okay now. So, I was a bit dismayed about the last video I posted, the borscht, getting only 15 views. But then, who knew that the beetroot soup would not be that popular on this side of Europe? Well, I didn't. I thought it might be interesting, but, apparently most people don't reach for beetroot very often when they're thinking of lovely, warming and wonderful soups. It was indeed a great soup, but I kind of get it on a regular basis. I'm not, when I'm shopping, and I'm not reaching for the beetroot all the time. Although there is a really nice, like these fiery mini beets that work really well in a salad. But anyway, borscht didn't work very well. Let's see what's next. Let's do cabbage instead. That's a popular choice. We've gone for beetroot and cabbage. Let's do something with cabbage in it. So today's cabbage is a thing. Let me look and see what the pronunciation is. A Kaalilaatikko. It's a Finnish cabbage casserole. And same with borscht. It's absolutely gorgeous and incredibly tasty. So bear with it. There's a number of things in there. Actually, it's fairly simple. A number of things in there. I'm waffling now, aren't I? It's a fairly simple casserole. It doesn't take very long. It is absolutely gorgeous. Bear with it. Here we go. And what is on today's board of goodness? We have a cabbage, because this is a cabbage casserole. I'm going for a savoy type cabbage, lots of green in it, rather than a whiter cabbage. We're going for 400 grams of lamb. I think traditionally this is a beef dish, but I prefer lamb. I've got a bowl full of sort of rice that I've left over. If you haven't got any leftover rice, you're going to have to cook some. I have also a carrot left over from something else. Not necessarily, but it's a good addition. Right, 2 tablespoons of dark maple syrup, 1 fairly decent sized brown onion, a teaspoon of black pepper, a good teaspoon of salt, a good teaspoon of marjoram. We have a casserole dish to put it in. Obviously, really, you're not going to hold it in your hands. And the oven, set the oven to 185 degrees. And, I think that's about, yes, a snowball. I do love a bit of snowball. Got some left after Christmas. It'll do. I also think I forgot about half a litre of veg stock. And off we go. Brown those onions quite nicely, not quite caramelised, but turn the heat up quite high to start this off and get a little bit of brownness against those onions. A lot of taste there. Right, break up the mince into the pan, bit by bit, and fling bits all over my kitchen. See, I am a bit of an amateur flinger of things. Rescue them into the pan and slowly brown the mince. You're not going to go too far with this because you're finishing off in the oven, but brown nicely. You can see the colour there starting to get a bit brown. Keep stirring them on I think I turned it down to about a medium heat. Right, we're now going in with the carrots into another pan because we need to start softening those. Carrots take a little bit longer than the cabbage, so start with those. And from the half litre of stock, use about half of it and start simmering that. It'll take a few minutes. Get your cabbage all chopped and ready for the next bit. Let's have another stir of the mince. Dum, 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 dum. And into the mince we're going to go with a teaspoon of marjoram. I don't use marjoram very often in things. It's an interesting herb. When it works, it really works, but there's not often, I don't put things in margarine very often. And the black pepper, God, I'm running out of black pepper there, so a turn or two, but you know, we're roughly looking for about a teaspoon of black pepper and some salt. Always start slow with the salt, so about a teaspoon of salt. You can always add more later. Probably won't need a lot to this dish because the veg stock has got a little bit of salt in it itself. But yes, stir away, get it all mixed in. Bum, 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 bum. And next you're going to be throwing all the cabbage into the pan because your carrots have been bubbling away for a few minutes. I've only chopped up the white bits of this cabbage. You can see the greener leaves at the back there, but I did chop those up afterwards. But yeah, the video is starting to get a bit long, so I've cut some bits out. So anyway, get that in there, start softening the cabbage. That's going to take the mince and the cabbage probably about 15 minutes. So here we are, fast forwarded to the soften. Everything's nicely, do not mush your cabbage. It's all got to be still whole and lovely, but just quite soft. And in with your 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I think I only started with 1 here. Let's have a look. Did I do 2 here? I'll definitely put 2 in eventually. Yes, I put 2 in here. And put that into the cabbage, not into the mince. Don't know why it works better that way, but it does. The cabbage soaks up that sweetness. Right. We pretty much reached the finish line of this bit. So let's have a look at that cabbage into the casserole dish. Da-de-da-de-da, let's not get, oh, I don't think, yeah, no, there's no bits of cabbage falling all over the place. And into the cabbage, stir the rice. Again, if you haven't got any spare, you'll have to cook some. Let the rice settle for about 15-20 minutes before you add it in, if you're cooking the rice fresh. Stir it all around, let all the juices flow in, and then add in your little dribble of stock that you've got left, and have a good stir of that. Have a little stirring song. And in with the mince. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Sounding exciting is a YouTube thing, isn't it? Only I'm far too old to sound too excited. Anyway, yeah, stir all the mince in, break all the bits of rice up, make sure it's all covered and soaked and everything that you would expect bringing 3 different things together to do. Stick the lid on and into the oven. We're going to go for about 40 minutes, I think. Yeah, 40 minutes. And out of the oven after 40, probably 50 minutes. The smell smacks you in the chops as soon as you take the lid off. It's amazing. Beautiful, this sort of deep mince and cabbagey. The rice doesn't give a smell at this point, it adds to the texture and the depth of the whole thing. But the smell that hits you of that sort of mince coming out, of the cabbage coming out, it's absolutely beautiful. This is a real cracker. And hopefully I'll get a few more views than 15 for the borscht. But cabbage, again, most people are not excited by cabbage. This is a very, very good one, though. I'll tell you what it's very similar to is the dish you can do, like stuffed cabbage rolls, where you put mince and things like that in cabbage and roll it and cook it like that. It's very similar in taste, but the way we do it's like a deconstructed cabbage and mince, and absolutely gorgeous. To be traditional Finnish, you would add a big spoon of lingonberry to your dish. But unless you've been to IKEA recently and got a jar of lingonberry, you're not going to have any of that hanging around. If you do, it does add something. It's really, really nice, that extra little bit of sweet on top of the sort of the meatiness and the cabbaginess and whatever. But anyway, enjoy. Thanks again for watching. I always appreciate it. Do the like and subscribe thing. There will be more. Christmas has got in the way. I did promise I was going to do more. Christmas got in the way, but I've got 4 or 5, let's have a look, 5 videos ready to put voiceovers to that will be in the next week or 2. So I'll be a bit more often. Thank you very, very much. Onwards.